Welcome to our new, kind of new, whatever it is, class, Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock p.m. Israel. We've been doing in this new Zman, let's get used to the yeshivish lingo, okay? A semester is called a Zman. Repeat. At your own Dalet Amos, in your own space. A semester, the Jewish yeshiva semester is called Zman. All right, so we are in the winter Zman. If we're gonna make this a yeshiva, we gotta get used to the lingo. That's really an important step. Really an important step. So again, we are in the winter Zman. Does that feel good saying that? Just you guys feel comfortable? So winter Zman. And the winter Zman, I would really like to get in the habit of using these terms. I'm just going to reiterate that point a lot. Because I made a conscious decision 5 years ago to stop speaking Yeshivish. What is it? Oh, my iPad. Let's see. When I started teaching this material, I made... one second. Turn this volume down. Sorry about this. All right. So I made a conscious decision to stop speaking Yeshivish. And now I'm making a conscious decision to start speaking Yeshivish. At least reintroduce it on a nice scale. So we're in the winter Zman, which goes from... In fact, if I'm speaking like that, let's make this the inaugural night of the launch of the yeshiva. What do you say? Loretta and Travis are here to launch their inaugural official Yeshiva Shem Ve'aver the way that I've always wanted to do it. Let's do that. And Shannon, sorry about that. Didn't see the name there. But let's do it, yeah? We have 3 people in class. That's witness. We have Adis. So say amen. And the Yeshiva Shem Ve'aver is off and running. Up and running. Here we go. The winter Zman is from Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan until Rosh Chodesh Nisan. It's the longest Zman. You're supposed to get a lot done in that Zman. I intend to do that. Then you take off the month of Nisan. And I do intend to, if we're going to keep the Zmanim, I want to keep the Zmanim. Right? Let's do it and get in gear. You take off the month of Nisan. Get ready for Passover. This year, it's going to be going to South Africa, so that's exciting. Then you come back, Rosh Chodesh ER, and you go until Tisha B'Av. May the temple be rebuilt this Tisha B'Av. You come back, Rosh Chodesh Elul, and Elul goes until Yom Kippur. Right? And then you stop Yom Kippur, have Sukkot, and then you come back for Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. So there you cover the entire Jewish year, and obviously you take off for the holidays, and you hope that times like this, 2 days out from the American holidays, that people still come. It's always a challenge, but it is what it is. All right, so that's the yeshiva. That's the yeshiva. And since we're going by Israel time, it's a little strange because you're not on Israel time. You're in daytime for you. But right now it's 9:42, and we call this Night Seder. Say that in your own Dalet Amos. Night Seder. And I want to tell you a little secret. A little secret. It's a big secret. Night Seder is where it happens in every yeshiva. There's the men and the boys, so to speak. People that don't come to Night Seder, they're not really doing too much. If you go to Night Seder, that's where all the action happens. It's really, that was the golden aspect of my yeshiva experience. All right? You sit on the back patio after dinner, watch the sunset over Mount Meron. You come back in at 8 o'clock, and bam, 1 hour with a chavrusa. Say that word in your own Dalet Amos. Chavrusa, your learning partner. We're going to get yeshivas yet. So then you sit down and base medrash is empty. Base medrash. Say that in your own David Amos. Base medrash. Base medrash is empty. Everybody went home. Right? Now it's like all the people that are a balagan during the day and distracting you and telling you to be quiet and don't do that and blah, blah, blah and ding, ding, ding. They're all home now. They all went home. And they close their books and they don't want to open them. And then the night Seder guys come in and they take over and they do what they want to do. And that's just get raw with Torah. It's that simple. Night Seder is where you just get raw with the Torah. Then you go for another hour from like 9 to 10. And then usually you daven Mariv, which is, I don't want to explain what that is. Just make this yeshivish. And then you probably go for another hour or two, whatever it is you do. Right? Some guys do Tikkun Chatzos, learn all night long, like at midnight. Go to sleep, wake up, wash bedside, very important. Atiyos Yadayim, Modani, say the prayer Modani, very important, extremely important. Maybe of the most 5 important things you'll ever do in your life. Go to Neit Zachama, early minyan, the rising sun. Pray, come home, get a bit of learning in, go to breakfast, start, what's it called? Morning Seder. This morning Seder is going to go 9 to 1. 9 to 1, you should learn a revealed aspect, Talmud, right? Get your blood flowing, have your cup of coffee. You got to have that morning cup of coffee or tea. Get your day going. Keep it simple. Keep it nigla, the revealed stuff, Talmud, halacha. Have lunch. Go and relax. Check your email. Do what you got to do. Come back at like 3 o'clock. And you bust out from 3 to 6, really strong. Learn your personal stuff that you really like to do. But the things that you have to do. Not just your favorite stuff. Things you really have to do, but you want to do. Then you're going to daven again. Based on the time has changed during the year. But anyways, you're going to go to about 6 or 7. Break for action, from action, have dinner, and then go back to night Seder. So you got morning Seder, afternoon Seder, night Seder. You guys with me? 1 or 2? Then you got the winter's man, you got the summer's man, and you got Elul's man. Right? We are in the winter's man, which is Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevis, Shvat, Adar, break, Nisan. Come back, Nisan, after Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz. Into Av, break. That was your summer's month. Come back, a little bit of Av. After Av, Rosh Chodesh Elul, the month of Elul, into the beginning of Tishrei, Elul's month. Break for the holidays. Come back, Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, 1 or 2. I'll tell you a little joke. It's a nice joke. It's a half joke. Starting with Rosh Chodesh Shvat. You with me? Every 2 weeks is a holiday all the way almost until Shavuos. You think I'm lying? You think I'm lying, Travis? Can you prove I'm not lying? This is one of those funny things. Watch this. Rosh Chodesh Shvat, Tu Shvat, Rosh Chodesh Adar, Purim, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Passover, Rosh Chodesh Iyar. Then you got the Sfiras HaOmer. Then you got Shavuos. So from the time, like in the dead of winter, all the way till beginning of summer, you got holidays every 2 weeks. Isn't that a nice idea? All right. So that's that. That's the Yeshiva Torah. Yeshiva Shem and Aver be launched, and we're literally on the grounds of Yeshiva Shem and Aver. We've been doing Job, and we're never going to stop doing Job. I have some videos on YouTube where I started a Job series, then I stopped, and then we did this, and I stopped. It's not that I ever stopped. It's just there's only so much grieving you can do in a short period of time with Job. But whenever the attackers will come, we always got our friend Job of teaching us how to refocus and get back in the fight and stay strong and not blame and be positive and deal with the world's negativity. And Job is our hero to teach us those tools to get through those times. And thank God we did. We got through, and now we have our antithesis of Job. We got our good friend, the Torah of Shem. And you also know I've had a love affair with the Torah of Shem, right? When I started my work, it was with Shem, and then I gave the class 2.0, but then people want me to do gear stuff, and then you have like family visitations, all these things. So I can't always put out a proper video of Shem every week. But, I'm always taking notes on Shem in my own work, my own mind. So I realized that as I was going to prepare the content for tonight for Job, and I thought in conjunction with tomorrow night was going to be a Torah of Shem. And I didn't give Shem last week because I gave the eulogy for Ron, the Ger, which was a good class, I think. But Lamaisa, the bottom line is I did keeping a schedule is always the thing, but you don't want to lose the content. So I decided that Shem is not a great monologue class because it's like Job. You can't teach Job in a monologue either, but at the same time, I'm through with Job. Therefore, the Torah of Shem hit me with like a ton of bricks. Torah of Shem is a discussion group. It's discussion. You discuss the Torah of Shem. I mean, that really is what the Wednesday night class is called. What's that called in Hebrew? A chabura. Say that word in your own Dalet Amos. A chabura. As in the letter A, like and chabura. Right. And I had this idea from the beginning. I told Eric Bryan that I wanted to do a men's prayer group, which is, I'm including that now in my Torah of Shem night because it's the same thing. I just had this vision of Tuesday night Mishlei is steiging. Say that word, steiging. Steiging is where you just knock out the Torah. Just you sit down, you sit at your stender. Say that word, stender. The table that you put your books on, stender. Steiging with a G. Steiging. So on Tuesday night we steig. We steig, and we only stop because my voice gives out. Wednesday night is the Chabura night. We sit down, right, and we're going to discuss Torah, bring up Torah, and the Torah of Shem is the perfect domain that Job really was what I figured out is Job fits inside the Torah of Shem. I mean, isn't Job a Torah of Shem character, really? They say, in fact, I'm going to read you something. I'm going to blow your minds. Ready for this, Travis? All you got to do is just get the juices flowing. It's usually enough. Watch this. What are the chances I'm going to pull out something really amazing? What are those chances? Find the book. What did I do with that book? That's the question. That's the challenge. Where did I put it? How was it? There it is. All right, here we go. Watch this. Watch this. I don't know where it is, though. One second. Bezrat Hashem, I will find it. Bezrat Hashem. A long time ago, someone told me about this. I gotta remember which area it's at. Watch this, though. I think we just found it. Think we found it. Hold on a second. You know what? This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna introduce the Torah of Shem's discussion series through Job. How's that? How's that first suspicion? And I'm going to explain why Job is Torah of Shem, all right? But first, I got to find this thing about Job. So hang with me 1 second. It's either going to be here or in Bereshis. I got to see. I saw it once. I know I have it. Let me just find it again. So talk amongst yourselves. Hang out 1 second. And let's see what we can do. I don't remember where that came from. I really hope this isn't hard to find. It's the Aryeh Kaplan commentary to the book of Job. I'm just hoping it wasn't in Bereshis, where we meet Shem and Aver. Oh, come on. Where is it? It's in the English. A friend of mine, when I first got involved in Ger, he was reading it in English, and he told me that he saw this commentary, and I called him on it and looked it up, and it was there. It was there. And this was back when I first got interested in Job, ironically. When I first got turned on to Job. I just don't remember. There's a place in the story of Job where it makes sense that he was learning Torah. It's either that or it is in where we meet Shem and Aver. And if it's there, then they mention Job. 1 second. Man, I never even thought I'd have to look this up ever again. I just like to give you guys the sources. That way it resonates the source and not David Katz saying it in your head. And I really would like to prove this and not just say, trust me. You know what? I bet you I wrote an article about this. Let me do it. I bet you I come up on Google. What are the chances of that? What are the chances of David Katz being the source? Job, Yeshiva, Shem, Aver. Let's see here. As I do not come up as the source. Although I do think I wrote an article about it. Let me see if it's in the Chumash of Aryeh Kaplan. I know for a fact that it's here. This is not a guess. I guess I would say in Bereshit, Vayera. It's got to be told us. All right, told us. Sarah, Abraham told us. There's already Kaplan quote this as being Shem. So, wait, what was that? So the answer is no. So it's got to be in the Book of Job.
All right.
Hang with me. What are the chances it would be E of 3323? Why do you say that? No. No. Let me think here. I think I want to say chapter 2. I'm almost positive it's chapter 2. Ah! Ha ha! It is chapter 2. Yeah, there you go. And I'm gonna take a snapshot and send it to Travis. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Where did it go? There it is. You know what? I'm going to close already cap, but I'm going to go right to the real source. He quotes it. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22. Here we go. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22. Yalkut Shimoni, number 22. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22. Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers. What does that even mean, Numbers 22? There it is. Okay, Numbers 22. All right, let's see if we can find it real quick. Ready? I gotta skim through this real quick. Hold on. Bear with me. It's worth it. It is worth it. It is worth it. It's 23. And all right, let's get some muzzle here, please. It'll help me find it quickly. I found it in Kaplan, but I want to give you. He just quotes it from here. We're looking in the Yalkut Shimoni. Apparently, Numbers 22. I don't know if that's for sure. Let's see it inside. And my skimming isn't being too successful. I'm afraid to look at the footnotes because I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. It's all about Bilam. I think Bilam was there in the yeshiva, maybe, because Bilam was with Pharaoh. Let's see here. Where is that? got to be here. It talks about prophets for the nations. It brings Jethro and Bilam. There's the thing about Pharaoh. All right, we're getting there. So it's got to bring in Eov. Bring in Eov. Bring in Eov. James, by the way, I don't know if you realize this or not, maybe you do. Loretta is not far from you, and she plans on coming to the conference in Chicago. So if you guys want to just give a hello, and I don't know what you guys know about each other or not, but for whatever it's worth, I made the connection here and now. And somebody tells me we really need to get this source because I think this is an important one. I really do. Especially for the class that we're doing. And when this class gets edited, anyways, this will be taken out, the delay. Let me see if they quote Eov. 1 second. That'd be a direct quote to Eov. There's Eov 57. Let's see if we got a winner here. 56. 57. Not so much. Uh, 65. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to fire up the 50 million books and let it start while I'm teaching, then I'll go back to it. Let me turn that on. In the meantime here, I'll take a picture of Ari Kaplan and send it to you. All right, Travis, if you want to look at my Facebook wall, it's coming over. Yes. All right. You got it? And that's starting there. Okay, so that's that. And therefore, we see that you don't get more Yeshiva Shem and Aver than Job. He was a literal student enrolled in Yeshiva Shem and Aver. And we're going to pull up that source in about 2 seconds. Once my computer on the other side of the room gets fired up. All right, so let me just give you. Torah of Shem has many facets. I've taught in and out of it for a while, but you see it makes sense that we can include Job into the greater universe of the Torah of Shem and Aver. Does that make sense to you guys? 1 or 2? That we're not stopping Job. It's just that Job was like, we were looking at Job through a Torah of Shem lens, and then you could say that I realized, don't call it Job, just call it Torah of Shem, and Job is a member of the Torah of Shem universe. 1 or 2? And one of those definitions that we like to use, but before I even go there, how many of you have read the Torah of Shem chapter in the book in terms of understanding it on that level? Right? Have you seen that? Have you seen the book or Torah of Shem in the book? James, you're there. Good. And Loretta? Good. Okay. So we're on the same page. Chaim's favorite definition, I wouldn't say it's my favorite definition, but it is definitely a definition at the very least. And that is that which was always there and you never bothered to look it up or to see it and to elevate it to what it really is. Right? Ger is a classic Torah of Shem. He was always in the Torah, and we just thought it was a nobody and overlooked it. And only when you look at it from a Torah of Shem point of view does it all of a sudden become something great. One or two. And more example, the whole Torah is the Torah of Shem. when you look at it from that level, right? When you are delighted by the revelation of the Shekhinah, it's because you got it on a Torah of Shem level. You stop being a Neanderthal about it. You stop being dogmatic about it. You stop being religious about it, halachic about it. One of my favorite sayings is, when the wisdom goes out, the halakha comes in. All right? That doesn't mean we negate one or the other. It just means Torah of Shem looks at it from a wisdom point of view. There's no halakha that says that Terach, Abraham's father, was a Rasha. Okay? We are not bound by any halacha to make a degradation to Abraham's father, Terach. The other reason why we say that Terach was a Rasha is to make Abraham the first Jew look good, and then we find out even Abraham wasn't the first Jew. So there are things that we say to make ourselves sound proud of our religion, and that's all fine and dandy, and you can say what you want. I'm sure every genre in the world says how great every genre is. Bass players think they're the greatest things in every band that ever lived. And I'm sure that's okay to say that amongst bass players. I'm sure, everybody has their thing. But in the universe of truth and reality, Terach was not a Rasha. He was a Ben Elam Haba. Yeah. That's right, and so 1 second, hold that thought. I'm going to qualify that, right? But when you get into wisdom, Terach was a Ben Elam Haba, and yada yada yada. Why do I acknowledge Terach that way? Because it's a Torah of Shem concept to do that. All right, it says, yes, Rabbi, I understand Terach was a Rasha, according to how you explain Abraham the first Jew. That's true. But let's go back to reality where Abraham was not the first Jew, and therefore there's no reason to bring down Terach. And like the Torah says, Terach came out of idolatry and got Olam Haba. Now, Travis, for you, let's stop saying the word drasha, because a major yesod out of the rest of this series and the rest of the things I will ever teach again. By the way, I gotta make a note. I forgot to make a note to myself. One second. Is to use the word. I'm sure you've heard it by now. Lefi pshuto. Say that in your own David Amos. Lefi pshuto. Because that's really what that means. By the way, in my Ger research, and I'm glad this will finally be documented that I get to say this. See, this is why we have to have discussions in this group. You already see why this class had to be created. There's so many things that have to be said, and I just wasted away on random Skype conversations. So here, it's a way of congregating all these gems, one or two. And drasha, what drasha means, and again, drasha is a Torah of Shem concept. I would say drasha is when I make stuff up. No. Drasha is when you choose to not be dogmatic in the literal rendering of a concept or word or phrase. One or two. Ger, in the pshat, you can make an argument. It is convert, right? I'm not saying that absolutely, but you can make that argument that it is known historically in recent times, Ger is convert. That is if you take it ultra literally. There's no law or rule that says we have to take things ultra literally, because drasha is part of Torah. Okay? Drasha, the definition of drasha and why it's called the base midrash and the midrash, okay? The reason why or what drasha is you take it out of its literal known connotation. And that is not an alternative, and it is not 1A, 1B. Am I Rabbi David Katz, a rabbi teaching right now? 1 or 2? Is that all I am? Is it safe to say that I'm a father to 2 kids at the same time? So there are organizations and groups that would argue with you. No, he is a rabbi. His title is rabbi. There's nothing else he can be. Right? So the drasha would say, okay, but he's also a human, he's a person, and he has facets of his personality. So the pshat is, yes, we only know Rabbi David Katz as Rabbi David Katz. On the drush level, it says we choose to look at it from a different point of view or through a different lens or filter, 1 or 2. And that is not a second-rate thing, right? It's not an alternative. It just means when I first look, I saw Lafi Pshuto. And then I realized, don't be moron, man. And how do we end off Mishlei last night, Travis? It was hang out with God, right? So when you realize, hey, you know what? I just interpreted the whole Torah as if there's no God. Then you say, duh, bring God in. What do you do then? You say, you mean Torah of Shem revelation? Yeah. So then you start to look at it and you bring in different points of view. Right? So the first glance, everybody goes with Pshuto, all right? And you surface level, okay? And then you realize that you're being a moron man, Neanderthal, a bigot, a racist, all these things, because that's just where we are. Right? You see a woman driving, just some woman driving. You see a Chinese guy driving, a Chinese guy driving. You can't help but be a racist, right? You can't help it. You just notice the super duper obvious, and then you realize you're in moron mode, and you got to wake up, and there's a humanity out there, and you got to beat up your animal soul and grow up to be the divine soul. And you say, okay, back to reality. It's humanity and wisdom, and you get your senses back, right? Little kid freaking out in the store. You're like, okay, dumb kid crying over ice cream cone. And then you realize, not dumb kid, human being, right? The mother's not even paying attention to the kid. The kid stepped on his toe, and the mother didn't see it. Okay, there's reality going on, 1 or 2. So everybody's got their limited point of view, and their reaction time is faulty because they're preoccupied with things, right? And it just comes out not exactly, right, production quality for the masses, your best introduction of self to the world, right? We all have this. It's a bit embarrassing, right? We have our moments, but Mishlei says you're going to have those moments, but it's not really you. It's just how God made it. It's an opportunity to wake up and go deeper, right? So everybody that learns Ger is going to say it's a convert, and Torah of Shem comes along to say, look deeper, 1 or 2. That's called drasha. That's called looking at it lefi drush. All right, hold on. And that's how you understand people, right? If I start going down on Travis, and here's where we're going to go to our Job moment, right? Travis, leave me alone. Go away. Go away, Travis. You say, wow, that Rabbi Katz is not a nice person. That's your first inclination, and it's not correct. That is lefi pshuto. You did not look deeper. If there's a reason why I am coming down on you, saying, go away, boo-hoo-hoo, I have reasons, and it most likely has nothing to do with you. It has to do with my world got narrow, and therefore I affected you, I afflicted your soul reacted, and made your life narrow. Someone, as we said yesterday, has to enlighten the other guy, 1 or 2. First, you got to enlighten yourself, then you got to see past it, then you got to enlighten me and say, Rabbi Katz, I understand you're stressed out, blah, 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 blah. I say, thank you, Travis. You saved my soul. You restored my soul, replenished my soul. My nefesh feels good. Your nefesh feels good. And we had our happy little Job moment. God came with revelation. We stopped being lefi pshuto. We found the Torah of Shem revelation, taking the Torah of Moses, the chief prophets of all time, to a higher level of a revelation where we can no longer be dogmatic and axiomatic on the surface and dig a little deeper, get into the Torah of Shem. It was there the whole time. And we sang Kumbaya with a couple of beers, 1 or 2. All right, now I'm going to look up that source. So give me 1 second. Let's go to the other side of the room and do this. All right, so I'm not finding it. And I'll look for it later. It's too hard. Too hard to find the spot. So I don't know. I don't know where it is. It's somehow in Bamidbar 22. I'll try to look that up. Unless there's one other possibility. We'll see. One second. Yov. Hang on, this might be here. Wait. Hang with me 1 second. I think I just figured out how to find it. 1 second. I think I got it. I just think it's very important to lock this one down. This is not one you want to lose. We're going to get this. Travis, what's the source I gave you? On that verse? What is this? Chapter 2, verse 211. Yalkut Shimoni, Chelek Beis, Remiz 903. What are the chances? What are the chances? What are the chances? 903. 903. 903. 903. 903. How is that right? Elkut Shimoni, Philip Bays, Remiz, 903. In the wrong spot. Perhaps it's here. Let's see here. Come on, Schwartz. Come on, Schwartz. Right, there it is. Thank you, Ronald. Yo. Why is this not working? Why is that not working? 893. This has got to be a good find. If it's this hard, there's something here. Let me look at that RA Kaplan again. There's something going on here. There's something going on. There's something going on. According to Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22, Job and his companions were all prophets from the school of Shem. Wait a minute. He quotes the Yalkut Shimoni here. Hold on a second. The sages taught each one of them resided just 15 parts things for how then Job's from the story what happened. Some say each had crowns and the images of their three appeared. When Job's tree withered, they knew something what had happened. Rava said, this is what people mean when they say either friends like Job's, friends, or death. Man, I really wish he would have put the Hebrew. So let me get again then. Numbers 22. Numbers 22. Numbers 22. Numbers 22. Numbers 22. If it's not here, I'm going to move on. Let me see. Numbers 22. Numbers 22. Numbers 22. Numbers 22. All right, it's not happening. I'll find it and I'll post it. This is important to find, though. This is very, very important to find. All right, that's... Man, I wish I knew a quick way to find this. Yalkut Shimoni. Let me see that. Where you kept it. According to Yalkut Shimoni, Numbers 22, Job and his companions were all prophets from the school of Shem. Sages taught each one of them resided at a distance of 300 parasangs from each other. How then did Job's friends discover what had happened? Some say they each had crowns on which the images of the other three appeared. If any of them had a change of circumstance, it was reflected in his image for the others to see. Others say each had trees. When Job's tree withered, they knew something had happened. Rava said this is what people mean when they say either friends like Job's, friends, or death. I wish I just knew where to look further. Wait a second. That's harsh. That's harsh. And it could be a misquoted source for all things. All right, let me put a bookmark there. All right, do you see how we're seeing the Torah of Shem here? Is this a good depiction of what we're doing? That you take things that generally mean nothing, right? The idea of Job being in the yeshiva of Shem and Aver, that goes over everyone's head. It doesn't register. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. And then you just kind of make derogatory calculations on that. I really want to see that source. But the goal of this class will be to elevate the whole Torah, really. To go over all these concepts. And I wrote down some bullet points, okay? And I'm just going to explain to you my notes. And that is the Torah of Moses, which has the Torah of Shem in it, which is a Torah which is not Lefi Pshuto. One or two. Then the content we can draw from will be from Halacha, Tanakh, Chazal, Kabbalah, Judaism, Tefillah, and religion. The Torah of Shem is paramount to the Torah Emet, as stated in the prophet Malachi, also in regard to the Torah of Moshe. We're going to talk about the bracha of Malki Tzedek, which is also a Torah of Shem Inyan, and the different concepts that relate to the Torah of Shem is the Iker. Iker is when a word, ger, when ger gets meaning, it goes through a Torah of Shem cleanse, it becomes an Iker. Say that word in your own area. Iker. Which means it's no longer James's favorite word. It's no longer stam. Right? A word loses its stam and it becomes an Iker. And then when you get a bunch of Iker in plural, it's called Ikarim. When you have a bunch of Ikarim, then it becomes called an Inyan. And now the word Inyan needs a Torah of Shem. Because people think Inyan means the thing. Well, that's not an appropriate definition to call it the thing. So a complex thing, a Torah of Shem complexity, but it's complex fundamental. The Iker is the fundamental. The Inyan is fundamentals. Right? Tim Duncan playing basketball is an Inyan because they call him the big fundamental. He does all the things right. And then there's the aspect of the Torah of Terach, right? Realizing that Terach was a human that got the world to come, and not some low-life character of the so-called first Jew, which is all fallacy. We're going to lay down foundational principles, Yesod. Kabbalah, in terms of Sod, secret, has to be isolated for it to be revealed of this nature. And we're going to look at Rashi Lefi Pshuto. Okay? So let's do one quick discourse just for the sake of the class, and then we'll call it there. Okay? One or two. Anybody want to be a guinea pig? To give me a verse in the Chumash commentary Rashi. You can pick any verse you want. Just don't make it the first of Bereshis because that's just too hard to find. Somewhere just random in the throughout the pages of the Chumash. Someone please give me a very simple couple word Rashi that I'm going to show you what I mean. First one through the gauntlet here will be the winner. Meanwhile, I'm going to find that Torah of Shem. So come back to me when you have your verse. It's on you guys. I'm here. Just a nice, easy-going Rashi on a verse in the Chumash. You guys on it? All right, Shemos 18. Yeah, then where? $18 what? Go ahead. Which verse? There? 18:5. 18:5. Vayavo Yisro chosin Moshe uvana v'ishto Moshe el hamidbar asher hu chaynen sham har Elohim. Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, came with his sons and his wife to Moses to the desert that he is chaynen sham, camping there on the mountain of the Lord. The Heilige Rashi Kaisiv. Af anu yoidim she b'midbar haya ela b'shvacho shel Yisro devar akasu shehaya yoishe b'chvodu shel olam v'nidvo lebo dat seises amidbar makom tohu l'shmoa divrei Torah. Does that sound clear to you? Even we know that the desert, there was a desert. It's the praise of Jethro. The verse is speaking about that he was Yoishe b'chvodo shel olam. He was sitting in the glory of God, of the world, literally. And his heart was dedicated to go out from the Esa Midbar, go out from the desert, a place of emptiness, to hear the words of God. All right. Now, that's Rashi. Would I assume then that Rashi wrote that commentary? That's our assumption, correct? How not? Well, yeah. And we know that Rashi says he only comes Lefi Pshuto. He is not coming for the Pshat, but for Lefi Pshuto. And we don't see anything about this being in the Pshat, of which Rashi is saying. So we know this is not the Pshat. Now we're going to find the source, Lefi Pshuto. Ready? So let's go. 18:5. Let's now go to the Torah Tamima. Torah Tamima. Torah Tamima. And see if it's here. $18.5. 18.5, 18.5, 18.5, 18.5, 18.5. We're trying to find where Rashi got this from. $18.5, Evel Yisro Chosim Moshe. And Torah Tamima does not bring it because it's not halacha. Next option, go to the progression, right? Let's now go to the Mechilta. Go into the Mechilta. Are you ready for the Mechilta? 18.5. And we have here. There we go. Vayavo Yisro Choyse Moshe V'ishto El Moshe. Obana V'ishto El Moshe. There we go. We found the verse in the Mechilta. This is the sages of the Talmud in their midrashic halachic commentary to the Torah. There's that word midrash. Do you remember my definition 5 minutes ago of the word midrash? 1 or 2? We said midrash is not lefi pshuto pshat, correct? Okay, lefi pshuto meaning the literal. But once we have taken Chazal's words literally, it becomes lefi pshuto. You see? So now let's see if Rashi took from Chazal. Sure, v'halo kavar nemar v'shnei b'nei imo shomani shahayu b'nei memakom acher tamid leimer rabana v'ishto Moshe bana v'shamoy shahayu lo hayu b'nei memakom acher. El midbar asher hu choyne sham har Elohim har yakasu mitema alav shahaya sharoi b'toch kvodo. Ah, wow. That's a kol kavod. Hear that? You hear what I'm saying here? Did you see what I just found? Give me a nice big 1 if you hear what I just found. Kvodo shel oilam vakish v'tzeis l'midbar tzia v'tohu ein bo klum l'kak nemar ala midbar asheru choyne sham har ha-Elohim. Ladies and gentlemen, where did Rashi get his commentary from? A literal copy and paste. Where did he get the commentary from? No, this is the Mechilta. This is the Mechilta. We can look up the Midrash. But number 1, we found it literally in the Mechilta. You see this? So now is Rashi giving us pshat? 1 or 2? Is Rashi giving us lefi pshuto of Chazal? 1 or 2? No, it is a 1. Chazal went drush. Rashi went literal of the drush. 1 or 2? See that? Look how many doors are on the Chumash. I read the Chumash and I live in Idaho. And then I read Rashi and I assume it's a literal commentary. 1 or 2? And people tell me it's pshat. 1 or 2? Then it turns out, number 1, remember, I'm just some guy in Idaho, and I was told Rashi is pshat. Do we all know this guy named Fred in Idaho? Learning the Rashi commentary is pshat to the Chumash. 1 or 2? And I found out, number 1, is it pshat at all? What Rashi said. 1 or 2? Oh, Chumash Rashi is pshat as a fact. And the truth of what we're revealing here, is that true? 1 or 2? The answer is 2, right? Next question. Not only is it not pshat, but it's in fact a drasha. Is that correct? And the drasha comes from Chazal. Is that correct? And is the Chazal's drasha on the Chumash? It was never meant to be pshat, ever, 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 ever. And Rashi came and took the literal words of Chazal. Is that true? And he copied and pasted them onto his commentary of the Chumash. Is that true? That is now called a lefi pshuto. Is that true? Now, if I'm looking in the Chumash and I read this, is that actually now what happened? And Jethro, the father-in-law of Moshe, came with his sons and wife to Moshe to the desert. That it was the encampment there of the mountain of God. That's not what happened. Now, I'm sorry, as Mechilta says. Now let's read the Mechilta again. Surely it already said, and the 2 sons with her, and we hear that they were her sons from another place. We already know this. The Torah is saying we already know. Why did it repeat? Do you hear the question that the Mechilta is asking? Why are you repeating this information? Talmud Leimer, to tell you, Ubanav Ishto El Moshe, Ubanav Shel Moshe Hayu. This was the children and wife of Moshe, the sons of Moshe. They were, and they were not. V'lo Hayu Baneya Memakom Acher. They were not her kids from another place, right? This is Moshe's kids. Ela Midbar. Now, why does the Torah tell us if we broke up the pshat of the pasuk and we were told, okay, I have to be told in New Chiddush that by the sons, I know that Moses was the father, correct? That's called the Reisha, the beginning of the pasuk. If we're going to get yeshivish, I'm going to get yeshivish on you. All right, we got the Reisha, the beginning of the pasuk taken care of. Now we're going to deal with the Seifa, the end of it, which is highlighted by Hamidbar. I want to know, since we're destroying the pashtus of the pasuk, because it cannot mean anything literal, says the Mechilta. So I got to know a new drasha, new angle of looking at it from the Seifa. Is that to say that it is only a 2-part pasuk, and there cannot be a 1 part? Does it mean that? No, it means that, yes, it can be a 1-part pasuk. That's called the pshat. Is that correct? And we have chosen to dissect and eliminate the pshat for the sake of discussion and look at the ratio of the first part, derech drush. Is that correct? And thereby the second part, derech drush. The ratio in the seifa, al pi drush. A different angle of looking at it. Therefore, it is chazal reality. It is chazal reality. They are not saying that there's no pshat here. Is that correct? They are just choosing to not talk about it. They are choosing to not talk about it. And therefore, their words have become something else. Rashi has quoted their words. And people think then that Rashi is a pshat because Rashi didn't tell you what he was drawing in from where he was drawing it from. Ela Midbar, that there was a place of the encampment there by the mountain of God. Hari HaKasuv. This is a strange way of saying it. To the desert. That is strange on it because it was Shehaya Sharoi B'toch Kvodo Shel Oilam. How can you say it was a desert when it was filled with the glory of God? Uvakesh. Let's say Lamidbar Tziyah B'tohu Ein Bo Klum Lakach Nemar El Hamidbar Asher Huchleina Sham Har Elohim. Requested to go out to the Midbar to I forget what Sia is, but Tohu was empty, and Ein Bo Klum, there's nothing in it, and for that it says to the Midbar that it is the encampment there, the mountain of God. Let's just check back with Rashi and see what he says. El HaMidbar, Afan Yodim, Shema Midbar Haya, El B'Shvachu Shel Yisro Dvar HaKasim, Shehaya Yoishet, B'Chvodo Shel Oilam, V'Nidvu label and says El HaMidbar, Malcolm Tohu, L'Shmoa Divrei Torah. Now, let me see here. So look what Rashi did. Look what Rashi did. I think Rashi he's getting creative on us. Look at number 6 in the Mechilta. One second. Okay. Rabbi Yoshua Omer Kasav Lo Be'igris. Rabbi Elazar Hamodai Omer Shlach Lo B'yad Shliach Amar Lo Asa Begini. Hold on. Isha Chavim Lav Asa Begim Banea Lakach Nemar B'yomer El Moshe. Rabbi Eliezer Omer Nemar El Moshe Aniyom Mishmarti V'haya Oelam Ani Mikrev Lo Merachog Shenemar Elohei Mekarov Ani Lo Hashem Lo Elohei Merachog Ani Yishagravdi Es Yisra V'lo Rachaktav Af Ataka Shabo Adam Atzlecha Lihit Gayer Hello Ger Ve'ino bo elo l'shem shemayim afata kreveo lo tarchakeo mikan aso laman sheyeh l'shalom yeh adam teicha b'smol b'yamim b'karav l'lo kashem she'asa elisha l'gechazi v'dechul. All right, so it's not 6, it's 5. Let me know. We have the beginning of Rashi. Rashi says it's particularly a Jethro function. We see the Mechilta there. We see the Mechilta. Let me now get the Midrash Rabbah. Are you saying he's quoting the Midrash Rabbah on that one? Let's see here. 18.5. 18.5. Yerushalmi Yavamas, Perek Vav, Halacha Vav. I'm gonna get that. I'm definitely gonna get that one out. 1 second. Eicha Perek Melchot Shimoni. Are you at Eicha Rabbah? You at Eicha Rabbah? I'm gonna be an Eicha Rabbah. Let's see here. Let me get the Yerushalmi Yavamas and Eicha Rabbah. Let's see if Rashi pulled from the Yerushalmi. Ready? You never know. Now this is Torah of Shem. Are you guys noticing the Torah of Shem procedure here? Everything is suspect to being a chiddush. Therefore, you look it up. Perek Vav Halacha Vav. Perek Vav Halacha Vav. Perek Vav Halacha Vav. Perek Vav Halacha Vav. There it is. Vav. Wait, what did I say? Perek Vav Halacha Vav. Okay, here we go. Where's our verse? There it is. Gershom. All right, so actually, the Yerushalmi is not where we want to go. So he's not doing the Yerushalmi. I wouldn't have thought so. Therefore, that's a good sign. Eicha Rabbah Perek Ches. Eicha Rabbah Perek Ches. Eicha Rabbah. Oh man, this is a different numbering system here. Hold on a second. Eicha Rabbah Perek Ches. So let's get this one. The Yalkut Shimoni Chelik Aleph Rem is 268. Because it will quote the same thing. 268. 268. 268. 268. Tough time looking stuff up today. Did you see that, Midrash Rabbah? Here, I got it. All right, we got it. We got it. All right. Let's see here. Let's see this. All right. Here we go. Parshas Jethro. It's got a bunch of the 7 law stuff here. It's pretty good. It's the end of 50 years. This Gaira. He Ana Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Omer V'Gimel Dvarim. And Amar V'Yanai Rishonim Nasat Lehem 218 mitzvahs. Adam Nasat Lo 7 mitzvahs. Noach, Aver Menachai, 218 mitzvahs Nasat Lehem. Avano kashavano l'sinai ka'adam shema'ara mipi. Chavis ha'ismar lanu shemin toyrek shemcha. Okay. Most of Olam Boyin Misgairin Mi Hayazeh Yisro Matan Torah Shema V'Ba Inyan of Amalek Zion Sheamus. He had 7 names. Inyan Yonasim Ben Gershom of Menashe. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Moshe Shemashah. Telling support your daughter. Hold on, this has been a little bit. There it is. Okay. Vayabo Yisro Chaysin Moshe Ubana v'Ishto Alo Kavar Nemar Ishtacha v'Shtei Banea Ima Shamea Ani. Sound familiar? Shahayu Banea v'Makom Acher Tolamar Bana v'Ishto Moshe Banav Shel Moshe Hayu v'Lo Hayu Banea v'Makom Acher Ela Midbar Asher Hu Chayne Sham Haryakasu Mitmia Ale Alav Shahaya Shroi Betok Vodo Shal Oil Vagash that says Elamidbar Malcolm Do Shaimbo Klum Lakach Namar Elamidbar. Ready for this? Ready for the big grand finale here? Ani Chosnecha Yisro Boalecha Kosh Baruch Hu Bochin Levod Vekaliot Amar Le Yisro Atabab Lekabil Panav Shel Osod Tzadik El Yiyu Bati Midrashos Batlin Mazerecha Leolam Shnemar Eitam Meshuvcha V'Sim Basila Kenecha V'Kanro Yitin Adam Es Bito L'Tamachochem Afilo Lokacho Bedamim. Okay, so our Yalkut Shimoni, quoting the Midrash, quotes the Mechilta. Right, quotes the Mechilta. So the Mechilta apparently is like the source, right? And that's where we're learning from. Now let's do a nice curveball and get the Midrash Gadol. Do you understand what it is we're doing right now? We are figuring out what Rashi's doing. You are in the head of Rashi right now. And you're figuring out what his sources were and why he wrote what he did. And it has nothing to do with Pshat. This is Torah of Shem. Welcome to the Torah of Shem. How do you like the Torah of Shem? It's a little bit slow and methodical, but what can you do? James, you with us here? $18. This is gonna give a big revelation here. Watch this. Midrash Gadol is where everybody went to. Everybody. Vayavo Yisro Chaysim Moshe Banav Ishto El Moshe Lama Nemor. See that? That's why everyone says, what's bothering Rashi, right? What is bothering Rashi? That's always the question. And the answer is nothing bothered the guy ever. It was what the real question is, what's bothering the Midrash Gadol? How about that? Because the Midrash Gadol asked the question, why does it say this? See that? The Mechilta tells you, like you just know, oh yeah, of course, sure. But the Midrash Gadol assumes that we need to know the question. Why does it say this in the verse? Now do you understand why we left the Pshat and we went to Drush? 1 or 2. They're asking, I don't get why we're reading the verse this way. Yisro bo elecha v'yishtach v'shnei banei ha'ima. Eini yodia banav shel Moshe ul banei ha'makom acher. Time l'leimer v'yavo Yisro chas Moshe banav v'yishto. Banav shel Moshe v'lo banei ha'makom acher. El Amidbar Hari Akasu Metame Elav Adam Shiroi Bebeso Vodo Shel Oilam Akshav Yavo lamidbar to hazeh she'im bo klum lakach nemar el midbar. Aha. Shalom, McFly. Shalom. How do you feel? I used to have a French guy in yeshiva. He used to speak a broken English. You say, how do you feel? How do you feel? There's your answer. Why does it say the desert? Because it says, wondrously on this, a guy who is soaked and absorbed in his house. Uchvodo. Shala oilam. Someone who is in God's world, in God's house, in God's glory. Akshav Yavo. Now he comes to the desert, which is empty. This desert, which is empty. She'ein bo klum. Lakach nemar el hamidbar. Again, el hamidbar. Hari akasu midmei alam. Adam shiroi bebeis of kvodo. Shelo oilam. Akshav Yavo lamidbar. Tohu azeh she'ein bo klum. Lakach nemar el hamidbar. You see? Oh, that's nice. You see that? Did you cop that? Raise your hand if you caught that. How do you spell desert in Hebrew? Mem, Dalid, Beit, Reish. Type that in, Bavakasha. Mem, Dalid, Beis, Reish. Now, in Hebrew grammar, if I say I went to the desert, you would just tack on a lamed in front of it. Is that correct? So what the Midrash is asking is, why does it not say lamidbar? What does it say in the pasuk that sets us off and makes us wonder? El hamidbar, to the midbar, El, Aleph Lamed, Hamidbar. Aleph Lamed and not just Lamed. If it was just saying Lamed, that's like saying I went to the place. But if I say El Hamidbar, that tells me that the sanctity of the Lord was not forsaken in the empty desert. Do you understand that? So when we went to the desert, we did not actually lose anything. We lost nothing. We actually gained God. Now let's go back to Rashi. Let's go back to Rashi. And even our friends at the Mechilta. Let's go back to the Mechilta. Let's go back to the Mechilta. And the Mechilta says, all right, we know the thing about the kids. We got that, right? We want to know about El Hamidbar. We didn't even notice that in the pasuk, right? You did not even notice that it said El Hamidbar. You thought, just like I thought, it was Le Midbar, correct? That's what we all thought. El Hamidbar. Asher hu choyin sham har Elohim. There was encamped there the mountain of God, Hari Hakasu, Abanav Mitmeya, Alav Shahaya Sharoi Vatil Kvodo, Shel Oilam. We read it wrong indeed. We mamish read it wrong indeed. The desert was soaked up with the glory of God, and that's why it's El Hamidbar. It was godly, Elokus. Uvikesh Saint Lamidbar Seivato. God wanted to take us out to the empty desert. The Aimbo Klum, nothing was there. The Kach Nemar El Hamidbar. Ashehu Choyne Sham Har Elohim. Now let's read our friend Rashi and see if we can make sense now of Rashi. El Hamidbar. Number one, why does Rashi quote us as a commentary fact El Hamidbar? Why? Because that's what everybody's talking about. Is that correct? And no one's talking pshat here. No one's talking pshat. Nobody. Okay. Af anu yodim shebemidbar haya. He's saying everybody knows it's the desert. So what's the chiddush? You hear that? Rashi's saying, why do I need to tell you the pshat? Fred in Idaho. Do you not have eyeballs to read and see They are clearly in a desert. We've been told 5,000 times that we're in a desert. Do you really want me to say in my commentary, hi, Fred in Idaho, we're still in the desert? 1 or 2. So let's talk about what everyone's talking about. 1 or 2. There's a bunch of people talking. In fact, all the Torah sources, you name it, every Torah source that ever lived is talking about it. 1 or 2. Ela midbar. Ela b'shvachu shel Yisro devar hakas. The praise of Jethro, the verse is speaking about. Shahaya Yoshe b'chvodo shel oilam b'nedavo libo and says Ela midbar makom to shmo divrei Torah. So when the Mechilta says that God brought us out of the desert, or out of wherever, to go to the desert, the proverbial us, Rashi actually says, is a mashal of Jethro. Because, Haya Yoshe b'chvodo shel oilam v'neva liva, it says, Ela midbar, makom, 1 second, very interesting, Ela b'shvachu shel Yisro dvar ha'kasuf, Shehaya Yoshev b'chvodo shel oilam v'nidva liba, it says El Hamidbar. 1 second. No. So no. Again, God dwelled in the desert. Right? The desert is where Yoshev b'chvodo shel oilam. Right? God himself dwelled, rested in the desert. V'nidva liba. And Jethro, what do you call that word? Nobilitied his heart to go out to the desert, a place of Tohu Shmoa Divrei Torah. That's interesting. Well, now, do you see what Rashi's saying? Wow, this is actually a deep Rashi. Look at this. This is nice. This is Chachma. You may have found a really nice Chachma verse here. Rashi's saying, okay, we had to be told the Seifa of the Pasuk. Is that correct? That it's a desert and it's God's glory and yada, yada, yada. And we're not dealing with a one-shot Pasuk, right? There's 2 pshat into the Pasuk. And the first part of the Pasuk was, I'm being told that Jethro's bringing Moses' kids and his wife, correct? And the Mechilta is saying that is pshat. And it's just, we're clarifying that pshat here. So it's really not that drusha dika thing. Rashi then says, then why did Jethro come? Why did Jethro come? If we already know that he's got the kids here, and therefore Rashi's saying, I don't like that drusha because it's not continuous. He's saying, right? Rashi came, or Jethro came with the kids, stop. Then the desert is a really fun, exciting playland of Torah, right? Reisha Seifa, correct? Rashi's saying, the Seifa, I love it. Bravo. It's Givaldik, it's Gishmak. But the Reisha is kind of boring. I don't want to write in my commentary, right? Because the Rashi would say the Reisha is not like the Seifa. Correct? There are 2 parts here. Rashi wants 1 part, but not pshat. So if we're deiche, if we push off the Reisha, which is Jethro brought the kids and Moses did not inherit some other guy's kids, 1 or 2. Then why did Jethro come to the spot where God is dwelling? You have to say that Jethro came out to hear God. How do you like that pshat of Rashi? That's a nice pshat of Rashi. That is a nice pshat of Rashi. Now, I'm going to look up the Migros Gedolos and see if anybody else talks about this. When's the last time you heard Rashi explain like that? 18.5. All right. There is Arashi. Evan Ezra. Okay. Evan Ezra is not going that direction. And Ramban is not going in that direction. And Sforno is not going in that direction. And the Baltorium is not going in that direction. And Orachaim is apparently not going so much. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe so. Hold on. 1 second. What about our friend Onkelos? Now that could be something. Watch this. Asa Yisro Kamuhi Demoshe Vunoya Ve'it say. Lavis Moshe Lemidbar Dihu Shari Taman Latura Vizgale Alohi. Oh man. Rashi might be going Onkelos on us. Look at this. Jethro came. Revo Yisro, Asa Yisro. The father-in-law Moshe and the kids and the wife clinging on to Moses, Lamadbara, to the desert. Dihu, Masher who cleaned it, Share, Taman Latura, that they were like soaked up and around the. I say Taman. To the mountain that the Isgale El Alohi, the revelation came on that mountain, Yikra, that therefore it's called of God. Wow, so Onkelos is really the same shot here. Asa Yisro Kamusi the Moshe B'nai Yisei Lavas Moshe the Midbara because he Shari Taman Lator Yizgali Alo Yikra Daronai. Wow. So the idea, so the Onkelos, the Aramaic translation is the Pshat. Okay, that is the Pshat. So now let's go into the Hebrew translation of the Aramaic. Watch this. Watch this. Where'd it go? Where did it go? How's it possible I'm missing Shemos? Where'd it go? There it is. This could be exciting. 18.5, 18.5, 18.5, 18.5, 18.5, 18.5. All right, ready? V'yabo Yisro chamav shel Moshe ubarav shel Moshe v'ishto el Moshe lemidbar shehu chayne sham samuch lahar shehisgala alav kavodo shel Hashem min betachila. Jethro came to Jethro, the father of Moses, came with the kids of Moses and the wife of Moses to the desert because it was they were encamped. What do you call it? The encampment was there next to the mountain that is revealed upon it the kvodo shel Hashem, the glory of God, min betachila. Initially, min betachila. How do you say it in Aramaic? Sounds such a. He's got Allah yikro the Hashem the Moshe min shiruya. Min shiruya. That's not a good translation. How do you say that? There's a better way of saying it. Samich l'Torah d'Yiskali alu yikor d'Adonai. Wait a second. The Aramaic's a lot better. But Asa Yisro chamu Moshe v'nai Moshe v'Yiskali levas Moshe b'midbar dehu Sharei Taman Samich l'Torah d'Yiskali alu yikra d'Adonai. That God called to Moshe. They left out the word Moshe there. How bad is that? That God called out to Moses there at first. All right, you see this? This is pretty good. So God has always called out to Moshe from this mountain in the middle of nowhere. And so now, if we look at Rashi again, Af aniyodim shemidor haya el shvaku sheyisro davar akasuv shehaya yoshev bechvodo shel olam v'nidvo libo. Let's say El Hamidbar Makom To Shmoa Divrei Torah. Yeah. You hear this, Pshat? Do you hear this? This is a pshat. Wow, is that a great pshat? Wow. This is really something. This is Torah of Shem right here. This is Torah of Shem. Why? What is the pshat of this pasuk according to Torah of Shem? You ready for this? The pasuk has nothing to do with the desert. The pasuk has nothing to do with kids and father-in-laws, okay, and ex-wives. It has to do with, if you look at the grammar, Rashi's saying the whole pasuk is about Jethro. It's not about the desert because we already know that. It's not about the kids because we already know that. The Chiddush in the desert was God was there, but the Aramaic is suggesting something a little bit deeper. Not just that God was there. God was there talking to Moshe. Fact or false? Fact. And we know that Jethro came because it's literally a pasuk. Right? The pasuk said Jethro came. Can you argue with that? So why did Jethro go? Was it to bring the kids, the ex-wives, and the fairy tale? No. Was it a Chiddush to say in the desert because he was an Arab? No. To hear God, you have to say it. It's the only way you can say that. If you go through the progressions, okay, and you don't want to say the obvious pshita, the simple answer, the only thing that makes sense is Jethro went to talk to God, hear the Torah from God. Rashi got it from Onkelos. He got it from Onkelos, but Onkelos wrote it in Aramaic. Rashi wrote in Hebrew. So what did Rashi do? He quoted you the Aramaic Onkelos, but he translated it in a digest in Hebrew through the words of Onkelos, and he brought the basis of elaboration from the Mechilta Midrash Hagadol. So what did Rashi do? He used the Mechilta, the ancient Masorah, ancient tradition, to formulate the writing structure, and then he plugged in the Chiddush from Onkelos. Because he read through Onkelos, and he read the Mechilta, and he said, how can I put it together? And he put it together. Basically, there's two schools of thought. There's the Pshat of Onkelos and the Pshuto of the Mechilta. Rashi chose to explain the Pshat through drasha rules of Pshuto. But it's still not the Pshat because it was a drasha lefi Pshuto. Onkelos is telling you the Pshat, but in a way that's so deep, you needed the drasha element to see what Onkelos saw. Because Onkelos gave you a good drasha, right? Because here, I'll tell you why this pasuk is unique. Here, if you don't use Torah of Shem, which kol kavod you, Travis, for giving us a great Torah of Shem pasuk. If you don't go Torah of Shem here, you go Pshita, ultra simple and literal. And Rashi, therefore, nobody went Pshita. The Pshat Pshita you can't do here. So you have to look at it from Torah of Shem drasha. Onkelos did it. Then the Mechilta went only drasha. Only drasha. So they're not in the Pshat. Rashi then went lefi Pshuto. In the words of the Mechilta, he plugged in the Onkelos, but he plugged in Onkelos derech lefi Pshuto. So you ended up getting... No, in fact, you know what? You did not get the pshat at all in Rashi. If Rashi would have quoted Onkelos, you would have got the pshat. That's how you say this. If Rashi would have just quoted Onkelos, you have pshat. But Rashi doesn't come for the pshat. He only comes l'fi pshuto. What did Rashi do in the end? He gave you l'fi pshuto. Let's go back now and read Rashi. El Hamidbar. By the way, you know what Rashi quotes right before in the fourth pasuk? We're in 5. What does Rashi say in Daled? When I tell you this, you're gonna like this. You ready? I mean, 1 and 2. You ready for this? Rashi quoted the Mechilta. It literally says Mechilta. So here's the proof. Did Rashi see the Mechilta on this? Can we say absolutely as a fact Rashi saw the Mechilta? 1 or 2? Is there ever such a case where Rashi did not see the Onkelos, which is printed standard in every Chumash? So what did Rashi do? He looked at a book that had the Onkelos in the margin and the Mechilta in the margin. And what did he do? He crunched the numbers and just put it together. That's the Chachma of Rashi. No one said Rashi doesn't have Chachma. But at the same time, did Rashi copy and paste? Yes. Did Rashi give you pshat? No. Did Rashi stick to l'fi pshuto? Yes. Is there a Chachma in l'fi pshuto? Yes. Do people get Rashi wrong when they say it's pshat? Yes. Why? Because when you read Rashi, there's not the pshat of the pasuk. Again, Onkelos was the pshat. Ready? Even though we know that it's in the desert, rather, the verse speaks of the praise of Jethro, as the verse comes to say that there was the dwelling of the glory of God of the world, and he sanctified his heart to go out to the desert, a place of emptiness, to hear the words of God, or hear the words of the Torah. So again, the question is, would we understand the pshat? Trying to think now, to go back in history, but Jethro came, the father-in-law Moshe, and his kids, his wife to Moshe, to the desert. There was the encampment of God at the mountain. Even though we know it's the desert, it was the praise of Jethro. Ah, there it is. There it is. Why is it not pshat in Rashi? Because it's not about the praise of Jethro. Here's Chaim Chlorphine on 1 foot. You want Chaim Chlorphine on 1 foot? L'fi Pshuto says it was the praise of Jethro. What does the Torah of Shem say? It was the praise of God. There's the difference. There's the difference. Rashi leaves out the Torah of Shem when you go l'fi pshuto. He encapsulated all the words of the rabbis. And the rabbis had God in mind. But a copy of a copy is never like the original. When Rashi copied their words, we got the praise of Jethro and not the praise of God. Torah of Shem is where you dig up Rashi and you look and you found what? The praise of God. Is that not blatant? Shvacho sheyisro. Shvacho sheyisro. That's something I want to know where he got that from. Where do we get the praise of Jethro? Where did Rashi get that it was the praise of Jethro? Now we know Onkelos said that. That's why Jethro came. But again, Onkelos was taking it to Hashem. Wow, what a question. What a question. What a question. Oh, man, what a question. Hold on, we still got more tools to look up here. This is a question. It's not about what's bothering Rashi. This is about what's bothering Rabbi Katz. 18.5. There's got to be a Talmud on this. I bet you any money there is a Talmud on this. 18.5, 18.5, 18.5. There's not. No, there's not. So the Talmud doesn't discuss it. All right, hold on a second. We're going to find this. Midrash, 18.5. Here we go. It's going to be in here. This book will have it. This is a fact. This is a fact. 18.5. El Hamidbar Shem Sham. Ha Elohim. El Hamidbar Lama Nema Elohim Yagos Bidmi Allah Bidivre Shvach. They quote Rashi and they quote the Mechilta. Hold on a second. Ella Haya Kaso Matmiya Allah Bidivre Shevach. Shaya Sharoi Bertol Kavodo Shal Oilu Vigish Losis Midbar Ziv Dov Vim Klum Lakach Nemar Nemar Asher Hu Choinish. Okay, so here we're one step away. The Midrash wants to say it's a praise pasuk, right? What's the Masorah? A desert is a horrible place. One or two. And this is a not horrible place because of the linguistic change. El Hamidbar, it's a glorious place. It's a praiseworthy place. So it's a pasuk l'shevach. Rashi then takes it one step. I'm guessing, maybe we learned that Rashi wrong. One second. Look at this. Hold on a second. Af anu yodim shem b'midbar haya ela b'shvacho. One second. Hold on. There it is. You want to hear a nice Torah of Shem shot here? Wow. I cannot believe my eyes. This is insane. Absolutely beyond insane. In my Rashi, like every Rashi you ever saw, it says, Ela b'shvacho shel Yisro dibera kasuv shai. Rather than the praise of Jethro, it's the pasuk was speaking. That is Lefi Pshuto. Correct? And the word speaking, Daled Beis Reish, which, by the way, is hinted at the word B'midbar, which can be spoken of. Don't say desert, say speaker. Midaber. Ready to see how deep the Torah goes? So the remez, now we're in Pardes, right? The remez is don't read Midbar, read Midavar. Midaber. One or two. I'm going to take a picture and send this to Travis. Watch this. Travis, I want you to look at this. Let's see here. Like that. How do I do this? Let's see. Wait, where is this? Wait, where's my... I messed up. Hold on. All right, ready for this, Travis? Go to my wall. Be amazed. Be amazed. Tell me when you're there. You there? All right. Look at the top book. The last word of the first paragraph at the bottom of the page, last line, See that? The word davar, or Yisro, sorry, Jethro, Yud Tav Reish Vav. Top book, Rashi commentary, right-hand pillar, last word, last line. 1 or 2. Now, what's the very next word? See how that jumps up to the next little thing? Next block? What's the first word? You see it? Dalet Beis Reish. 1 or 2. Now, look in the book underneath it. Do you see that? Do you see the 1, 2, third line, first word? Do you see it? 1 or 2. Look at the Rashi. It's the funny print, the Rashi print. You see it? Just underneath the main text of the Chumash. The big bullet print, just underneath it. Go to the far right side. Go down 3 lines. First word. Please type in whatever way what you see. First word on that line. Dalet Beit Reish. Do you see that? Do you see the dots underneath the Dalet and the Bet? Therefore, do you know what that means? It means the verse is not praising Jethro. It is saying Jethro came to praise God. Read Rashi right. Do you realize how big of a chiddush this is? When you put those dots there, this is how you read it. Even we know Shebamid, they were in the desert. Rather, Bishvacho, with praise of Jethro. The pasuk is saying, who did the praising? God praising Jethro or Jethro praising God? Jethro praising God. The very next verse, read the next verse. And he said to Moshe, I am Jethro, your father-in-law. I am coming on to you, your wife, and your 2 kids. What is the Midrash saying? Why does he need to repeat it? Look at 5 and look at 6. Jethro, the father-in-law of Moshe, came with the sons and the wife to Moshe to the desert. That is the encampment there by the mountain of God. And he said to Moshe, I am Jethro, your father. I am coming to you, your wife, and your 2 kids. So we have to say, in the second wind, we get shot. Then he told him that. And you're going to say in the first wind, he's coming angry, supporters sleeping around. All right? It's a nasty show, a nasty turn of affairs for Moshe. No, just because it's a desert doesn't mean we're hanging out in a dump and a dive bar. Jethro's coming. Why? To praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You cannot say it any other way. It is not saying how great Jethro is, that this non-Jew became a ger. That's what we want to say. Pat you on the head. Yay, you. Yay, you. No. No one ever said that. No one ever said that. It's either how bad the non-Jew is or how superior the non-Jew is. No one said that. No one said that. Is the praise of God. But read what Targum Yonason says in the very next sentence. Pasuk 6. And he said to Moses, I am your father-in-law Jethro. I came to you, Lahit Gai Er. I came to you to become a ger. How great is that? The Aramaic had it the whole time. And look at the word. That lamed or that aleph lamed, the 2 is language of lova, which is an attachment, which is the nilva. Levasach ve'itach train banaya ima. We came to become nilviim to you. And Targum Yonason then says, what does it mean? Lehit gayer. How cool is that? Tell me the Torah is not true. Let me get the Mechilta on this. 1 second. So you see, It's all one thing. All right? It's all one just thing. There's no things. It's one thing. And all Rashi did was give you a splice of the thing. And he made it in a very strange way. To make it sound like Jethro was the guy of praise. And that's what happens when you go to the Pshuta. Because they are so busy talking about the characters that no one talked about God. And then it ended up being that the characters became in the image of being the ones being spoken of in praise. Nobody ever praised Jethro. Do you realize that? Nobody in Rashi ever claimed to praise Jethro. How many people will read this Rashi and say that it is a praise of Jethro? In fact, let's get our friend Arthur Scroll. I want to see how they translate this. Let's hope that Art Scroll learned it right. Maybe I'm just the one that doesn't know how to learn. Let's see. Shemos, 5 and 6. Here we go. Here's the litmus test, right? You ready for this? Art Scroll, Rashi. To the wilderness. We too know that they were in the wilderness, and it would appear that the Torah would not have to tell us this obvious fact. But in mentioning this, the verse spoke in praise of Jethro. For he was living in a place of high honor in the world. His heart moved him to go out to the wilderness, a place of desolation, to hear the words of Torah. I apologize to you. I'm sorry. And they quoted the Mechilta. They're saying that he quoted the Mechilta. I apologize. I'm sorry it came to this, but is this not proof, of everything we stand for? This is sad. This is really sad. Really sad. I'm sorry it has to come to this. That was a knockout, wasn't it? That was really David versus Goliath right there. So there you have it, folks. There you have it. It's greater, lesser evil. Right? If we say that I'm wrong, let's just say I learned it wrong. I'm arts, okay? Then you have the question, why did we praise Jethro and not God? And the fact that the Mechilta doesn't say it. Never does it say the word shvacha, praise. So either I'm a total idiot and we are praising Jethro over God from words that don't exist, or I got it right and Art Scroll got it really, 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 really wrong. Pick your poison. I won't be offended if you call me the idiot. I really won't. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Oh, I haven't done a yeshivish learning session in a long time. Now you guys saw me come unglued. Anyways, that's that. This is the Torah of Shem class. What do you think? Pretty good stuff, huh? The Torah of Shem. That's that. So basically, I'll close on this note. Every week, I would like to do what we just did. A chabura, sit down. I might disappear for 10 minutes looking something up, right? But we come through at the end. We look up a verse, a thing, a chazal, a tefillah, whatever it is, and we steig it out to the end. We come out with a chiddush, and we see, is the Torah one? Did anybody in Torah ever actually argue here? In real Torah sources, nobody argued. Did Rashi actually write anything novel and unique? No. What was Rashi's greatness? Putting together the words of Chazal. He was a great copy and paste machine. So great on so many levels because the words of Chazal were fantastic. Look what Chazal did. Right? Don't read Bamidbar. Call it Midaber. No, don't say Le Midbar. Say El Hamidbar. That's the fundamentals of the Pshat. Then you get into the Drasha and Midrash Agadata. Then you have your Lefip Shuta world, Torah of Shem world. Rashi came and wrote it literally perfect. Just like the Rambam says, there's no Ger Toshav till Yovel. Now we can look at it. Is that really true? Can we take Rambam at a literal level and just say, oh yeah, yeah, obvious? No. There's so much depth behind it that the Torah is copied and pasted every generation. Those weren't the insights of Chazal. That was Moshe Rabbeinu's tradition coming through there. Moshe wrote the Torah. Moshe wrote El Hamidbar, that was Moshe Rabbeinu. And they darshan it out. And this is the keys to the Torah. Rashi wrote it down. The copy and paste. Yeah, Moshe got it from Hashem. Why? Because Moshe said it to himself, and he said, hey, listen to that. I keep wanting to say El Hamidbar, and I don't want to say La Midbar. Why is that? Oh, maybe because I'm the greatest prophet that ever lived, and I'm really saying it was a godly mountain. Hey, look at that. It was a godly mountain. Moshe had the Torah of Shem. Moshe had to discover God in his own voice. Then that got taught over. Then that got written down. Then that got spread. Then that got copied and pasted. Then it got to the time of the Rishonim. Then Rashi encapsulated the whole thing. Then Rashi copied and pasted and spread it through Torah Lefip Shuto. Then Arshel came and messed it up. That's what I have to say. If you can quote that, figure out a way to quote that, that's my message. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say we had a great Torah from the day of Adam and his creation, through Moses at Sinai, through thousands of years of exegesis and spreading the truth. Our scroll comes and says we are to learn how to praise Jethro because we like converts. They didn't even get Lahit Gayer right. Didn't even get Lahit Gayer right. I'm stopping the recording here. This is what I want to do every week, not so much as complain, but take sources that are random or bothersome, whatever it is, trace it through, find the Masorah, clean it, present it, post it. Thank you.